Yeah, man. All right.
Is this the one, the only, the God, the Jesus from Colorado, Frank himself, the Colorado Jesus Christ, the savior of the family?
This is the one.
Man, Jesus Christ, this guy calls.
Yeah.
This guy makes two phone calls, and I have heard about it nonstop.
I'm the hero. That's right. Save the world and maybe the universe.
You called Uncle Guy, you called Nona. I haven't stopped hearing about it since.
Well, there was reason behind it. It's crazy. He's a little psycho, the Uncle Carmen there. He must have known that I was talking about him with Emma. We were at a local sub shop having some beers and some sandwiches, and football was on, and I was like, I gotta call him up and chat about Coach Prime. Everybody's obsessed with Coach Prime here in Colorado. Deion Sanders, he's the coach of the Colorado University Buffaloes, and that's all anybody has time for now. It's just Coach Prime all the time. His face is on everything. The news, on the news, they just talk about Coach Prime, and then they sprinkle in some element of the footage of Lauren Boebert getting felt up at the theater during Beetlejuice. Then they go back to Coach Prime. He's in every commercial. He's all over the TVs. And so, I was like, I gotta call up the uncle, do some sports recap, catch up on the football season that we're underway here with about 3 weeks, and, the closing of the baseball season, heading into the playoffs there, so a lot to chat. So his ears were burning, and he called me right when we got home, so I'm like, all right, I gotta call him back. And then on the docket for the day, phone call-wise, I had to squeeze in Nona because our eggplants are gonna go bad. So I got these eggplants growing, and I needed to get a little insider old world info on how to preserve the eggplants, the Southern Italian way. So I got a little of that insight there, and it was great. It was very productive. I accomplished a lot, and to top it all off, I'm the hero of the century back in Chicago. So
Oh yeah, no. Now me and Tony, we're out of the will. Frank's top of the line because Frank is the Calabrese grandson because he grows his own garden.
That's right, man.
Look, he wants to do. Mike, he called just to find out about the eggplant. Oh, Frank, he carries on the traditions.
I'm a traditional, old school kind of guy, man. I told you, I'm going analog. I've been talking about it on the show here. I'm going off the digital back to analog.
Take Nona with you.
That's right. Well, I need all the secrets. You can't get the real info online. If you really want to know how they did it, got to talk to the old folks while they're still around, people.
Yeah.
They know what they're talking about. The old wives' tales, the little tricks, they work. The thing is, I call her up because I want to find out, hey, how did you preserve these food items from your garden to last all year long, right? Or at least through the winter till you could grow some more. And how did you do it at a time where you had no money? You were essentially indentured servants to the landowners. And, you could barely get by, let alone, purchase things that nowadays, it's very easy to preserve stuff. We have all sorts of vacuums and sealants and jars and mixtures of chemicals, you know what I mean? Different pickling solutions, but how did you do it 100 years ago and make it last so nobody died of botulism? Because you had a way, you know what I'm saying? And it worked for thousands of years. So
salt and oil.
Exactly. It really just comes down to vinegars, salts, oils, and, it's old school. It's the way to do it. So that's kind of my mission right now. I want to learn to preserve the way they did back in the day so I could prepare for when World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, George Soros, all those nut jobs, they shut down the power grid, do the cyber attack, plunge us into the dark ages for several weeks. I don't want to buy into their Bitcoin-based, government-issued digital currency, social credit system. I'd rather be able to survive on my own foods and blast away any lunatics with my shotgun that come to my door.
Oh, yeah. No, when I own nothing, I'm going to have great pasta sauce.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll be
You
eating.
know?
I'll just consuming tomato sauce nonstop.
It's gonna be great.
No, it's important. I think I want to get into the sausage making. Have some of that pork preserved during the winter time. Stuff that you don't need a cooler for or a refrigerator. You just need some salt and some oil, man.
It is funny, like that's like it's like a delicacy now. Like go get yourself some prosciutto, you know?
Oh, exactly. You want to eat some like really good cured meats. It's going to cost you $150 for this charcuterie board,
Yeah.
right?
Like back in the day, that just was what you had.
That's what's so funny to me about charcuterie. And out here, people are like, oh, Frank, he loves the charcuterie board. And it's like, well, I just grew up eating meat and cheese with some bread. That's literally how we just lived, man.
Yeah.
You know? Because, by the way, the bread, you get it's that Italian bread where the crust is so thick and hard, you can't even break through it with your own teeth. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta soften it. You have to soften this bad boy in the oven anytime you want to munch into it. But that inside, there's nothing better than that bread on the inside, and you put the cheese on there, a little meat, and it all goes down together.
Plus, if you're eating it at a real Italian's house, that bread is 3 weeks old, been sitting in the freezer.
Right, but
they warmed it up in the oven that day, and it is fucking rock hard on the outside, warm and soft on the inside.
It's the way to do it, man. It all works together in the end, and then the next morning when your sides are splitting and you're cramping and you can't understand why you're going through hell, well, you look back on that delicious old school Italian charcuterie dish you had at Grandma's house.
I gotta tell everybody, we were in Florida, and I get made fun of anytime the family gets together, because I tell them I don't want to eat the sausage. Every time I do, the next day I have just flaming hot diarrhea, for half the day. And I gotta go to work. I just don't like it. It's not fun.
You don't have the time to dedicate to sitting on the toilet every 15 minutes.
No, and I just don't want to do it. It's not fun. And everybody makes fun of me. So we go on vacation. Nona busts out the sausage. Everybody's munching away, laughing at me because I'm the pussy. Right? 12 hours later, you can't find an open bathroom.
That's right.
You could not find an open bathroom. Tony, who made fun of me the most, was shitting for the next 3 days.
Well, he was doing it wrong. He was just like munching on the sausage like it was a popsicle, and... like just cruising through like a sausage, no cheese to break it up. You know what I'm saying? No, the cheese helps it slide through the tracts there, the digestion system. You know what I'm saying?
No, nothing helps it slide. Everybody there, everybody who made fun of me.
You're supposed to drink it with that homemade wine, right? And all the stuff in that homemade wine, that's what slides everything through you.
Oh, good call. That's what breaks it down.
For sure, man. It's just some hard alcohol, essentially, that they call wine, but it's just hard alcohol.
That's great. I love
wash it through. It. Yeah, it breaks down that hard bread and whatever decaying meat is inside that sausage casing that you're consuming. And the cheese is there to make it all taste good.
It's so funny because Nona, I guess she planted the wrong peppers, so we have these like giant, super spicy peppers.
Nice, man. Reapers?
Oh yeah. I don't know what they are, but everything she makes now, like the potatoes this morning, so spicy.
Yeah, it's great, man. We did jalapenos, habaneros, we did the serranos, and we did the Reaper, and only one pepper grew. It's kind of weird. I think I didn't plant it in a spot that got enough sunlight, but I showed you a picture, didn't I?
That's the one that survived. It ate the rest.
It did, yeah. Well, we picked it, we ate it, and then that thing ate me from the inside for about 2 days. Oh, yeah. Vicious little sucker, man. It got me good.
Was it really that bad?
No, it was delicious, actually. The spiciness, like, you're sweating, the snot's coming out of the nose, you know what I mean? And we made tacos, and Emma was able to get through, I think, 1.5, maybe 2 tacos. She did not touch the third one. I crushed my 3 and ate her 4th. And it's a slow burn. It starts to really, each taco, it starts to add on to the previous, And I momentarily turned into that fat dude from Man vs. Food. we're just like crying and sobbing like a child, but you're like forcing the food into your face. It was really bizarre. Like, I didn't want to stop eating it. Like, I almost, like, the challenge was on, man. I grew this Reaper pepper. I cooked it into the tacos. I'm gonna eat not only my 3, but I'm not gonna let that 4th go to waste. I'm gonna make it happen, and I did. Gotta be honest, the next morning I was prepared. I woke up actually extra early, put on an extra pot of coffee. You know what I'm saying? I had the baby wipes next to the toilet ready to go.
The magazine.
Yeah, a little candlelight action. I was prepared for a late night, early morning toilet session. It didn't happen. I felt great. I was in and out. And the next day, the leftover tacos, I ate them. And I noticed that the heat just like kind of cleared me out. I felt fantastic. Yeah.
All right. Maybe
so
that's the trick.
I think eating the spicy food, there is an element of almost, it's like it's getting rid of those toxins in your body or something. It's really weird because you're sweating, like it's like burning you from all corners of your body.
Sounds very scientific. So
yeah, I go to the school of Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Neil deGrasse?
That's right, deGrasse, man. Well, it's all
that sounds about right.
All about being healthy. I'm a health nut, Mike, you know me, and that's why I'm always paying attention to the new trends and what especially like celebrities are doing to stay healthy. And I don't know if you were watching the news, but I'm not the only one watching these celebrities be healthy. I got it, folks. This is it. We're nearly 10 months into the year, but I believe this is the greatest story of 2023.
And in New York City, Prince William went for a jog in Central Park, and no one noticed. And if they did, they didn't make it. Decided to go for a morning run in the park just like everyone else. No one stopped him, not even the paparazzi.
Not even the paparazzi! What? That's it. That's the whole clip. Not even the paparazzi. Folks, I'm going to do it one more time for those in the back.
Prince William went for a jog in Central Park, and no one noticed. And if they did, they didn't make a fuss.
Oh,
Prince
they didn't
William
make no
says
fuss,
he decided
man.
to go for a morning run in the park just like everyone else. No one stopped him, not even the paparazzi.
It's crazy. The paparazzi didn't even follow him in his car or drive him off the road under a bridge or anything. It was wonderful.
Yeah, talk about a family falling from grace.
This was news, dude. I picked this one because it's hilariously quick.
Is he the one that called the family racist? Oh,
no, that's Harry. That's the spare. This is the heir, man.
This is the one that plays ball.
He's Heir Billy.
Right. I didn't even realize he's just a Billy. That's terrible.
He was wearing his Air Jordans, right, just to throw it in the face of his brother, the spare. That's right.
Instead of AIR, it's HEIR.
Yeah, that's right. They're personally made for him. He's got the money, man. Come on. Air Jordans. They're all gold. Genius. Yeah.
It looks exactly the same. Except for the word air.
And the Michael Jordan emblem, like the Jordan guy flying through the air, is actually a silhouette of himself flying through the air.
With a crown?
Yeah, with a little crown on the top. Yeah, dude. Air Jordans.
That's so sad.
And for Christmas, he bought his brother Harry a pair of spares made by Yeezy. Not as popular.
Poor Harry.
Yeah, spare Gordons. Spare Gordons. They're not as hip as the Air Jordans.
You know what he's starting to realize? I'd rather be a spare than a nobody.
Yeah, well, yeah. Again, I've been catching up on the old Suits show that Emma's watching on Netflix because there's no new programming because there's a writers-actor strike that you all forgot about. We don't care. Just here to remind you every day. Meghan Markle, worst part about this show, I can't get over it. Every time she's on screen, I'm like, oh, there's that Merkel chick. She's just being Merkel. It's horrible.
Oh, you know what I just thought of? Like, what? He was bred for generations and raised to be a prince. He knows nothing else. So, like, what job is he gonna get, right? So that's now, right. Meghan Markle, you just left America, married a prince.
Yeah.
And now you're gonna be the sole breadwinner? Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, that sucks, dude.
That's a rough deal you got, man.
I don't know. They're here. They're living here, right? Don't they live in America? Isn't that the deal?
You can't live in the UK. You called your whole family racist.
I know, but they probably live in the nicest place in America.
I think they live in Beverly Hills.
I guarantee they live somewhere.
They don't want to be seen, Frank. Remember, they're trying to hide.
That's right. Yeah, they need the paparazzi to follow them. Except, look at Prince William, right? He's able to go for a jog. Not even the paparazzi are going to bother him. He's just out for a jog, like you and me, Mike. Regular dudes.
You know what this really shows? The bigotry towards bald men. I feel it too. Bald man goes for a jog and just nobody pays attention. It's like you don't even exist.
You're telling me the heir to the throne went jogging with no security running with him? Nobody? Like, there wasn't this, scene of a man running with other people around him through the park? There's no way he just ran by himself with nothing.
We are talking about New York. I'm sure there's lots of groups of men running. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
You don't think twice.
What a weird news item to toss out there. There were other clips that I chose not to pull because they were 3 to 6 minutes long. Like they were dedicating huge amounts of time to talk about this dude running through Central Park, man.
Dude, I had to look it up. He's 6'3". I knew he wasn't small. So you got this very noticeable 6'3" guy, probably with security.
Yeah.
How did nobody notice it? No. You know what this tells you? People noticed. We're not impressed.
No, that's why they had to. They turned to him after his jog. He probably ran for about 10 minutes in a circle and came back, and they're like, "Well, you're not actually trending on X, formerly known as Twitter." Here's
the problem, Prince. You decided to run on a day that ends in Y, which also happens to be the day they were indicting Trump.
That's right.
So we had other fish to fry.
He went on this jog, and he's like, "What happened? Why aren't I trending?" And they're like, "Well, Hunter Biden, they found another laptop. And so, unfortunately, Trump's now going to be indicted for the 5th time."
This time in Nevada.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll find out.
They're voting him off the ballot in Colorado. It's all we're going to talk about. Did you see?
We don't know how it happened, but he even got voted off Survivor.
That's right.
Incredible.
Oh, man, he comes back. He's like, "Why aren't I trending?" "Well, did you see we have another backstage infrared shot of Lauren Boebert grabbing that dude's dong in the middle of the Beetlejuice show? It's an extra."
Lizzo fat-shamed another one.
Another one.
Oh, man, I just love it, dude. I love how many people talked about Prince William jogging and nobody noticed. It's the best part of the story. That's great, dude. I went for a run an hour ago. You know what? Nobody fucking noticed.
Yeah. Welcome to the world of being a white man.
The only one who noticed I was gone was one of my cats. Not both of them. That's how little people noticed. One, not both cats knew I was gone.
Was hungrier.
Yes, who wanted me to fill up the bowl. The other guy was sleeping. He had no idea I left. That's how unimportant I am. 1 out of 2 cats knew I left the house.
Nobody talks about that part of being a white man. Nobody cares.
You could only get half your pets to even care about you. It's unbelievable.
Even the pets don't care. Nobody cares.
And you pay for their food. It's unreal.
Yeah, I was about to say, and even when you go missing, it's not that they miss you. It's they start to miss what you provide.
They just miss the hand that feeds them. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's it. It could be any hand. Terrible.
Oh, man. It's absolutely terrible.
What a great story. Well, William... I think we could drop Prince now. William, welcome to the club.
Yeah, nobody cares.
What? I don't get. See, this is the Brits. This is why it's impossible for me to care about you. He is the Prince of Wales.
That's right.
What the fuck is Wales? What is the
Exactly.
United Kingdom versus England? Like, dude.
Not even that. How do you spell Wales? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't even get me halfway there, man.
Why are you the Prince of Wales, but the heir to the British throne? I like what? That doesn't even make sense.
No, it's and they throw in this dude. What is it, like Dutch of
Oh yeah,
Sussex?
the Duke of Sussex,
Duke of Earl, and it's just I can't.
Duke of Oil. Oh, great place.
That's what I'm saying, man. Is this where I get my oil change? I'm very confused already. It just doesn't work with Americans. Like, we're very simplified with our names and titles, and you know, like it's just we don't do this whole mumbo jumbo with adding in the place of and the family with and the scrolls and all that nonsense. It's just we're dudes and ladies. Some of us fellas and a few of us lady fellas. That's about it.
I think that's what Sussex means.
I think so too. Well,
Right.
Speaking of royalty and paying visits to the people who write the checks, Zelensky was in town on Friday, and now I think this weekend he's currently with our neighbors up north, our friends up there in Canada. He's hanging out with Trudeau, and I can only assume Macron is there, and I could guess they're having some sort of three-way. We all have seen the videos of Zelensky doing the dancing. We know which way Zelensky swings.
Well, dude, do you know why he's here?
He needs more money for sleeves.
It's not about that.
Oh, all right.
He's fighting with Poland, so he had to leave Poland.
I know, dude. This is incredible.
He can't go back to Ukraine. He can't actually go to the war, so now he had to come here.
You know what happened is Poland joined the actors' strike, and they can no longer host all these televised events that they've been putting on, these performances, right? They're in the Writers Actors Guild, and they can no longer, in good conscience, cross the picket line and be the scabs and put on these performances.
We stand with Fran. the nanny lady. What was that lady's name?
Yeah, Fran Drescher. Good call. Yeah, that's right. The nanny. You could just say the nanny. We all know.
Nanny.
We know who you're talking about.
In Poland, that's the sexiest laugh you'll hear.
I mean, Nanny was a babe. She was a hot mama, right? Come on. Fran Drescher, back in the day, she had it going on.
Yeah.
She was 90s hot, right? She had the big hair and the makeup and you know, the big ass and wore the tight dresses that were leopard skin.
Yeah, I was never really into that big hair look is the problem. I always thought that looked weird.
Yeah, I'm not...
But it was hot at the time, I guess.
I'm just saying, I think she was considered kind of a babe or a sex symbol of some sort back in that time frame, right? The 90s were early 90s, a little different time, you know? Late 90s.
I don't know why I just thought of this. Did you see that statistic floating around about the slave owner ancestry?
I'm fascinated already. I can't wait to get canceled. This is great stuff.
Apparently, every president, every president has a family, has a direct link to ancestors that own slaves, except for one, and it's not Barack Obama.
Right, because he's related to Cheney and Bush.
Barack Obama has direct slave owner ancestry. The only one that doesn't have it is Donald Trump.
No way. I was going to guess someone like, oh, well, you can't go old school, right? Because they were really into the slaves at some point. Like,
the farther back you go, the odds go.
The more into it.
You get to a point where they were the slave owners.
That's funny. What is the percentage? Like, at some point, it's 100%, right?
It's not even like, oh, my grandpa. It was like, talking about my five.
That's so insane if you think about it. You go not too far back enough. I mean, we had senators who were owning slaves like 50 years ago, right? Wasn't Inspector...
To be fair, I only buy house N-words. I don't use them in the field.
Wasn't Arlen Specter's family, when he was a kid, like slave owning?
I think they freed them all, though.
Well, yeah, you got to give credit where credit's due. I agree. But still... I'm just saying, that's pretty close time-wise for us to have people serving in the Senate. within our lifetime who have direct relationship to family members owning slaves. I believe Biden is in that camp as well. I wonder, it was probably his
They all are.
great grandpappy. And so that's a really funny concept that I never even considered.
Yeah, like he's so old. He was probably in part raised by a man that owned slaves.
Yes, or when he
Like his grandpa.
even Joe Biden's father, maybe even when he was a kid, was in a family that had some slaves.
Frank, his dad was taking him around Delaware, showing him gay guys having sex on the corner or something, proving to him what real love was. Come on.
That's right. His dad took him to all those bathhouses where Tony Fauci was banging dudes.
That's real talk, not a joke.
Come on, Corn Pop.
Don't make me get that knife off the rain barrel, Jack. This is real talk. See those two guys, Joey? That's love.
Biden was at that UN summit thing where Zelensky showed up this weekend, and there was this shot floating around. It's about 12 seconds long, and it's the dude who's in charge of, I think, Argentina, De Silva maybe, or one of those countries down south. And they get done, everyone's clapping. He shakes hands with one of the leaders, and he goes to shake hands with Joe Biden, and Joe just like sleepily turns to the right and just wanders off the stage. And the Argentinian leader just like throws his hands up in disgust and just like, what are you gonna do with this dementia patient?
You can't even be mad at him.
No,
Like,
you can't do anything. He's got dementia. He just freaking wanders off like an insane person. It's so funny, man. It's such a funny clip.
And that's when one of his helpers came up and said, well, the alternative is you shake Kamala's hand.
Right. And so then they go and kiss his boots. That's exactly what's going on here. So it was a wacky and wild weekend out on the East Coast for leaders visiting. The UN was going on. Zelensky was in town begging for more dough. He didn't quite get the paycheck I think he wanted. We were talking about how they have this weird shutdown that nobody cares about because we know it's not going to happen. And one of the big hangups is a gajillion more dollars going to Ukraine to sponsor cluster bombs and, plutonium-laced ammunition. So Zelensky was here begging, and I hope everyone's got themselves handy a nice, tall glass of water. This one's going to be thirsty.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's arrived in Canada after wrapping up a visit to Washington, D.C., where he met Thursday with U.S. lawmakers, military leaders, and President Joe Biden. During a speech at the National Archives, Zelensky thanked the U.S. for the $113 billion in aid to Ukraine approved by Congress, saying the money's helping to prevent a wider war in Europe.
Listen, when I give you $100, thank you is nice. When I give you $100 billion, I don't want to thank you. I want you to show me where that fucking money went. Are you winning?
Yeah, great call, man. And right here, they're going to play a clip of Zelensky's speech at this summit. He, in short, says, thank you for cocaine, hookers, sleeves, pockets for cocaine in sleeves, etc.
Fall, half of Europe would again be in danger of being in Moscow's sphere of influence. But American investment in Ukrainian
Yeah, but it's the half of Europe nobody cares about.
Also, if you don't give more money, we have 2 more Hunter Biden laptops, okay?
Oh, there we go. Okay, that
and
makes
global
sense.
protection of freedom is working 100%, every cent.
Meanwhile, Poland's prime minister says he will no longer send new arms to Ukraine and will instead focus on arming Poland with modern weaponry. The move comes amidst a trade dispute that's seen Poland ban imports of Ukrainian grain and other food products.
So it's kind of weird. Poland was like the ally in this whole thing, and now they're like, we're done. No thanks. We'll check you guys later.
Yeah.
Wasn't
That's
the
a
whole
crazy-
fear and the basis of their undying support for Ukraine the idea that if Ukraine falls, Russia will now be at the doorstep of Poland and we have World War III?
Yeah, I don't know. It really looks like he just wants certain regions.
Well, it sounds like he got his Donbass and whatever else he wanted, where there was
he did.
literally Russians living there wanting to no longer be a part of this corrupt Nazi regime in Ukraine.
Did you hear what he said? Every dollar is spent towards freedom.
That's right.
Except for the millions of dollars the people I fired stole.
Except for the suitcases upon suitcases that these oligarchs are being caught with traveling overseas, of the dollars and the euros just stuffed to the brim, man.
And all the arms dealers that we've given money to and received no weapons.
I mean, war is a racket. A lot of people, especially over here in America, made a lot of money on this whole thing. How many years? 2 years we've been doing this? When did this whole thing start? It was used to get everyone's attention off of COVID, right? Everybody replaced their needles on their profiles with the Ukraine flag. Remember that?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
So we forgot about our needles and our bandages, and we moved on to Ukraine flag, supporting Ukraine. Not as many Ukraine flags out in the neighborhoods these days. I like to peruse and do my walks and my runs, man. I have to say, publicly, anecdotally, locally, that support is pretty much long gone, with the exception of the few, that 30% of the population who will wear the mask no matter what.
So, I think I was reading it in Al Jazeera, but they were saying that it was like this. They spent $25 billion trying to cut off the Russian forces in this one area that would allow them to then surround the Russian forces. It would pretty much allow them to take back the Donbass region, but they first needed to take this one little strip of land that would cut off Russian forces, right?
All right, yeah.
They spent $25 billion, and they almost made it through that one little section and then got pushed. Then they got pushed all the way back. And they're reporting that it could be 70 to 100,000 Ukrainians died fighting for that area.
Wow.
And $25 billion in arms. Lost. All of that lost, and nothing was gained.
Man,
nothing was gained.
That sounds a little demoralizing. Let's say if they're like trying to round up your ass from the street in Ukraine to go fight on the Donbass.
And then a week later, Zelensky's over here begging for more money. It's like, what are you going to do with it?
And Zelensky, man, looks a little rough. I think that cocaine addiction over the last couple of years is really paying its price.
He is starting to look very Al Pacino at the end of...
He's almost kind of
Scarface.
He's slowly turning into Sean Penn now that I look at him. The face is morphing into Sean Penn. It's crazy.
Retarded? Oh, no.
Yeah. So Sean Penn, the face of this war, apparently, the day after we talked about the clip, I was on MSNBC, or maybe actually CBSnews.com, and every side, top to bottom, it even had the floating ad. It was Superpower, the Zelensky Ukraine documentary, and it was just Sean Penn and Zelensky, like, walking amongst the ruins of what once was Ukraine. It didn't look too promising, man. I'm not going to lie.
So ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
Kind of looks like you guys lost this war. Zelensky's not even in Ukraine. Clearly, he's fled. The dude has fled Ukraine. And he's out, parading around the international stage, begging for more dough. He's getting peanuts at this point. Unless you are correct and we end up signing over, what is it in that bill? $2-something billion more? 200 billion?
We have to. We are the reason the war kept going. We promised him everything.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, what a farce. It shall continue. I imagine they need it to go on maybe till what? The election, right? Like, you can't change the horse in midstream or whatever, right? You gotta keep, they gotta ride on the fact that we're in the middle of this huge war. We can't switch presidents,
Oh, yeah, you gotta dance with the girl you came with,
That's exactly right, dude. So I think they're going to have to really ramp up this war, put more money in, send more ammunitions with all that plutonium laced around the edges.
Yeah,
And,
I don't mean to keep correcting you on this, Frank. We're not animals. It's uranium. Come on.
Sorry, yeah.
Depleted uranium tipped ammo.
Yeah, I'm a certified moron, so it's all nuclear to me. You know what I'm saying? We're shooting nuclear bullets over there, baby. It's getting crazy.
It's pronounced nuclear.
Well, speaking of going nuclear, it seems as if unions in America have hit the red button, and everything seems to be exploding. You have that actors-writers strike that nobody gives a shit about, but we also have a strike unfolding that could get worse and could incorporate more elements, and then ultimately kind of bring a lot of parts of our society to a bit of a standstill. The UAW strike, we haven't talked about it at all, Mike. I feel like it's something we should dabble in a little, right? It's kind
I
of
don't think I'm allowed to give my opinions on unions, since I am a union member, but this is exactly why the unions are destroying America. They have destroyed America.
Well, let's check it out. Let's see. The funniest thing to me about this is it seemed like the Biden administration didn't know how to handle it or which side to play, but ultimately they are now having to be supportive of the unions because they realize they need some votes in about a year. So
well, they got caught because they're supposed to be the party of unions.
Exactly.
Apparently, Joe Biden has been in bed with the CEO of GM for a long time.
Well, that's better than being Trudeau, who's in bed with Macron all the time, right? A little bit better. Maybe. I don't know. You be the judge, I guess.
Yeah.
Tonight, President Biden announcing he will join auto workers on the picket lines in Michigan next week, just as the union ramps up its pressure on GM. And
he did that only after Donald Trump decided to go.
And he's not going to join them on the picket line. He can barely join his crew on Air Force One. They have to put him up the short steps, man. Like, this guy can't join anything. Get out of here.
The UAW expanding its strike to all 38 parts distribution.
And it means a lot more if Donald Trump shows up to have my back. I am so much more impressed because this guy had to plan it around 9 indictments, 91 federal charges, and he still came here? Holy shit.
That's what's so funny about it. Like, they threw so many things at Trump that it's just making him almost more impressive as days
you took
go
time
on.
out of your day to come to our protest? Jesus Christ.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, he's showing up at these rallies and putting on these 3-hour speeches to these mammoth crowds, and then he's going down to the county courthouse and getting booked. This guy's a freaking pro, man.
Giving speeches with the ink still on his fingers.
Yeah, dude, I'm impressed. I'm continually more impressed with this guy.
From California to Florida.
We will shut down parts distribution until those two companies come to their senses and come to the table with a serious offer.
A week into the strike, 5,600 more auto workers today walking off jobs critical to the nation's supply of car parts. At this Stellantis plant outside Detroit, workers like Brandon Dawson tell me they're staying on the picket lines until there's a fair contract. But he warns consumers could feel the impact of today's walkout.
The customer is directly infected right here. You might need some windshield wipers. They're not going to be coming because we pick the parts that get them there.
And what do you say to those consumers who may not be able to get their vehicles repairs or get the parts they need?
I'm sorry to the consumers. I mean, I know it's not their fault, but it's really corporate greed. They making the money. They can pay us.
Auto workers are still pushing all three companies for that 40% pay increase over 4 years. But for now, the union says it's not expanding its strike against Ford, saying talks with the automaker show progress on issues like cost of living increases, profit sharing, and job security during layoffs.
And David, President Biden says he'll stand in solidarity with these union workers right here in Michigan next week and call for a deal that keeps the auto industry thriving with the union jobs. Not since Teddy Roosevelt invited coal workers to the White House have we seen a president show such support for striking workers. David?
Oh, wow, Biden, so supportive. What's crazy, too, is I'm excited to see which Biden actor they have play him for this situation. Is it going to be blue-eyed Biden? Are we going to get black-eyed, angry Biden? Are we going to get Sleepy Joe, the real Biden? Only time will tell.
You're going to get the hanging earlobe or the attached earlobe?
Oh, or maybe we'll get the fake Biden who they put the rubber mask on. You know, the mask that's always ill-fitting in the back by the neck.
He got fired.
He definitely got fired, man. Did you see the footage of the Biden walking to his car with the two cops.
Yeah, that was interesting.
And everyone's like, hey, are you Joe Biden or are you fake Joe Biden? And he like turns around and gives like 2 thumbs up and, you know, is kind of like walking quite sprightly, I have to say, for a dude who can only get into Air Force One on the short steps. You know, this fake Biden walking to his Honda Civic in the parking lot was a little strange. It was kind of weird.
They got to give him like plastic surgery, right?
Who, the actor or?
Yeah, because there's no way you could just naturally look that much.
They have these rubber, I say rubber, but they're these silicone masks that have been perfected for decades. The CIA, you can see videos of them all over YouTube even. They still show them on there. These are masks that are very realistic, hyper-realistic. Like, they put them on, and you could engage these people who are wearing these masks and have no idea that there's a different person behind that skin.
Mm.
And
I don't believe it.
No, they're real, man. They use these, you know. Do you remember Jackass? They did that skit with Johnny Knoxville dressed as an old dude.
Yeah, I guess.
They have the ability to transform people, especially you get some actors who are around the age of Joe Biden, C-list actors, dudes who haven't seen the screen since, you know, the Critters movie or whatever it was, you know, like Gremlins, right? That was the last time they were in a movie. And so you toss out this old guy who's same height, similar build, toss on a little rubber mask action or maybe some prosthetic features, the nose, you know, change the jawline a little bit, throw on some makeup, and all of a sudden, you got Joe Biden. A little bit different eyes, right? Maybe slightly different earlobe, you know, but Joe Biden.
Maybe. I don't know.
All right. I got a maybe at least.
I'll give you a maybe.
Okay. Well, I think there's more than just a probability. I think it's a reality that we've been seeing unfold more often than not, man. I mean, again, this kind of also, the mask thing, the prosthetic face and features, this goes down kind of the mythological concept of how, you know, Kennedy never actually assassinated, but truly locked up in a cage down below. And we saw fake Kennedy get killed. You know what I'm saying? Like, there could be a lot of elements at play. Right? Remember, you were talking about how, you know, maybe they take down Trump into a basement. You got Kennedy behind bars.
yeah, I don't know, but they killed a fake one. Maybe they're, I don't know.
All right. That's
hard to say.
Well, when it comes to fake ones and fake politicians, none are better than Hillary Clinton, who I say has been dead for years, and we've just been seeing some weird clone. She was on my favorite new weekend programming, Inside, with Jen Psaki on, I think, MSNBC. Have you been catching these episodes, Mike? I know my DVR is set to record every Sunday.
No, dude, I can't believe the Democrats can only fail up. They all fail up.
When I like forget she was the speaker or whatever.
Like the worst press secretary.
Right before how long has Karine Jean-Pierre, been in her gig? For me, it's felt like she's always been in that job, but I totally forget we had Jen Psaki for a minute there.
Yeah, Jean-Pierre is just going to be there until another spot opens up at MSNBC.
That's right.
Yeah, that's how they do it.
Absolutely, man. Well, Jen Psaki gets all these great interviews. She's probably, I would consider, the Joe Rogan of the legacy media at this point, right? She's getting all the hot interviews here. And she got Hillary Clinton on there this weekend or a couple days ago, and Hillary was asked about Trump, of course, and she says something interesting, and I'll let you think about it, and we'll meet on the other side of this one.
No, I love it. It's Hillary going on all these shows and podcasts is like, it's no different than O.J. Simpson talking about how immoral certain people are for their crimes.
That's right. Yeah, like how it's unholy to murder people, right?
I forget what he was talking. Oh, remember when that college kid murdered the 4 college kids?
The
And then
recent
there was
one,
a-
like in Ohio or whatever
yeah,
it was.
like, I think it was Idaho.
He's still
And then they,
on
like,
trial. It's like an ongoing situation.
He went on this whole long rant about how we should be nice to people and like, I'm like, dude, you murdered 2 people. We all know you did.
Yeah. OJ, what do you think about this? Well, I think people need to learn how to control their rage.
Yeah, like Hillary, whatever Trump did, even if he is guilty, you should just shut up and hope nobody ever goes back and look at what you did.
Take a look at some of Hillary's emails that came out during the WikiLeaks release. She discusses making sacrifices to Moloch. She is really big into the child stuff and all that weirdo nonsense. She uses a lot of strange words. And she also, as we discussed several episodes ago, mentions going after the tomb of Gilgamesh. Hillary Clinton's a weird one. And,
And all the people she murdered.
Yeah, well, she just happens to be connected to 53 suicides where the guy shot themselves twice in the face with a shotgun.
Or mysteriously drove their car 150 miles per hour off a cliff.
That's right. While hanging themselves. Yeah. They were doing the erotic asphyxiation in the car and just drove off a cliff. It was crazy.
Right off.
Remember all those celebrities that died of the erotic asphyxiation?
No, I don't really remember that. But I did just watch 6 Days and 7 Nights.
All right. Who's that? Is that Harrison Ford?
Harrison Ford and Anne Hesh.
The late, great, my man. Scary stuff. She was killed, no doubt about it. And I was just thinking about how it was about 5-10 years ago, like David Carradine, he died allegedly of the erotic asphyxiation where you're like hanging.
Who is that?
He is He's Bill from Kill Bill.
Oh, wow.
And
really?
he's a legend in the Kung Fu universe. People are familiar with his work there. Yeah, I believe he died of the erotic asphyxiation, and then I think they pegged that as the way Robin Williams went out.
No.
I'm pretty sure, not 100%, allegedly, but I really do think that there was this weird moment where like 2, 3, maybe even 4 celebrities died of the erotic asphyxiation, which, you know, I mean, now looking back on all the mysterious celebrity suicide deaths, you know, Bourdain and the fella from Soundgarden, and, you know, it's just a lot of suicides. You almost think the people who, and Anne Heche, I think they try to like claim she was drunk and on drugs and drove herself into a house, you know?
Yeah.
They claim that, what's his name? Fast and Furious dude, the actor, he was going to also produce or be behind some sort of child, you know, sex ring revealing thing, and his car drove 120 miles an hour off a turn and he died, right? Like,
Yeah, Paul Walker,
man. There's like a lot of weird moments in time over the last 10 years. And there's that guy Cappy. He's the dude who released all this stuff on YouTube or on Twitter and kept saying, I'm not suicidal, I'm not going to kill myself. And he is the one who admitted on some clips that Tom Hanks was a known pedophile, Oprah, he was friends with Seth Green. He's the one who revealed all the stuff with Seth Green in his house and the dungeon and all this weird stuff. And sure enough, after these videos came out, he allegedly threw himself off a bridge onto a road on a highway and was killed from the fall and oncoming traffic.
But right before that happened, did he happen to slip a disc into Will Smith's bag? You know?
They're after us because you made a phone call! It's kind of weird what happened, you know, with a lot of these celebrities, and you should look up this Cappy. I think it's Cappy, Kappy. I believe he was some comic, not very well known, but he went online and was revealing all this stuff about all these celebrities, and apparently Tom Hanks even tweeted some weird cryptic image of roadkill, like right before the dude ended up dying by throwing himself off a bridge onto oncoming traffic. Like, and he
was a guest on Alex Jones. What,
dude? The stuff about Tom Hanks. Oh, and he also reveals who I'm a big fan of talking about, Steven Spielberg. Like, could anyone be more gross and obvious than Steven Spielberg? His whole career is based around being alone with little kids and filming them.
Yeah, look at Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, they're all creeps, man. It's creep show there in Hollywood. I'm telling you right now, dude. Well, either way, we didn't even get to it. I got the Hillary. Should we do the Hillary dance? We got a little time here, right?
Yeah. Dude, that is crazy. He jumped off an overpass in Arizona.
Yeah. And he explicitly says in multiple videos, what's his name? Cappy, right?
There were two people on the bridge with him who apparently attempted to prevent him from throwing himself off the bridge.
Wow, no way. I didn't know that little detail.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's a sneaky little nugget. Who were these two mysterious people? It was, you know who it was? It was Tom Hanks and Oprah. You know it, right?
I just looked at a picture. It was Epstein's cellmate, the giant mook.
And you know what? If I remember correctly, the chief of police in that Arizona town, same guy from Lahaina, right? And Las Vegas. Just a coincidence.
We gotta get this guy out of here.
We're going to bring out the chief of police that investigated this suicide. He's formerly from Las Vegas. All right, thank you. Thank you for your investigation. Where are you headed now? Lahaina? Beautiful. Sounds like a lovely place.
Dude, it's crazy. He was really, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird videos if you look into this dude. He, again, names Oprah, Tom Hanks. He goes on a deep dive of Seth Green and his wife. There's a lot of weird info out there about how the word chicken is used as a euphemism for children amongst these elite pedophiles, and they use that as a cryptic term to share amongst themselves via email. That's why I mentioned Hillary Clinton during the WikiLeaks release. She mentions sacrificing chicken. It's really bizarre. Seth Green, he's a weirdo. He created the show Robot Chicken. Maybe there is some element of alluding to the child, trafficking ring element that they have going on there. You know, there's these elites, man, especially the Hollywood ones. Pretty weird. You know what I'm saying? And it's extra weird when there's a dude out there who starts revealing it and says, hey, I'm not suicidal. I'm not going to kill myself. Then he kills himself. And you're saying that reports indicate there were two shadowy figures who nobody ever chose to investigate into further.
No, I can't even find their names. They just referred to them as two bystanders who attempted to prevent him from jumping.
Yeah, it's weird stuff. Tom Hanks, by the way, I want to mention, famously a part of the Black Eye Club. If you're not familiar with the Black Eye Club, all these celebrities who are allegedly involved in these bizarre satanic adrenochrome-based rituals, they get the black eye. It's some sort of side effect from taking the adrenochrome, and he's in the club. All these people are. It's a weird little world going on there, right? Like,
and you can tell they didn't like him. They really tried to sabotage his career. They put him in Terminator Salvation.
Oh, no way. What's this dude's name again? What's his full name?
Isaac Cappy.
Isaac Cappy. He was okay. I didn't know he was an actual actor and stuff.
Oh yeah, dude, don't tell. Oh my god, we keep harping on it, but you tell me they even had a Jewish Terminator, no black Terminator.
That's what I'm saying here, man.
BLM, we need to get on this.
No, wait. He wasn't a Terminator, was he?
What else would he be?
Well, I imagine he was one of the civilians who probably died. He probably played the character like the nerd who's like on the intercom, like telling them where to go, you know? And then he probably dies some horribly gruesome death at the fate of the hands of the Asian Terminator that they cast, but they refuse to do the Black Terminator. Still blows my mind. Like, Black Terminator? Come on, man. Just makes a lot of...
I don't know. I can't find how he dies in the movie.
He definitely must die. There's no way he's a survivor in Terminator. And maybe that's why it's a bad Terminator. If that dude survives, that's a bad movie. Look at the original Terminators. every time there's a dude on the screen, he dies 5 seconds later. Like, that's the whole reason you introduce a character in the first two Terminators. It's to see how the robot kills them and like how creative this and how awesome the, special effects are with the death, man. Like the dude in Terminator 2 when he's getting the coffee and then the T-1000 emerges and it's the same dude and they're looking at each other and then he points his finger on his forehead and shoots the blade through his skull.
Oh, what a great scene.
That's freaking awesome, man.
What a great scene.
So that's the whole point.
Yeah, he wasn't a Terminator.
No,
he was.
Look at the guy. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
He was put in that movie to die.
You know who makes the cut for Terminator? Allegedly not black dudes. No black dude will be in Terminator.
Can't be black, apparently. That's the craziest thing.
And I'm pretty sure in the newest Terminator, they went with like full female cast. Like, it was all... Yes, this last one, they brought back the original... Sarah Connor, and it's her and like another chick, and I think they have like a chick hybrid Terminator thing.
Now Leslie Jones, there you go. I would have believed her as a Terminator. That's a Terminator.
Yeah, I could see Leslie Jones as a Terminator. Yeah.
She walks like a Terminator.
Yeah,
I'm running already, just thinking about it. Just thinking about her now as a human, I'm running away.
Leslie Jones, we covered her a couple episodes ago. Man, have you seen how she's everywhere now? They've like
I didn't notice.
Plastered her on every station. She's doing all these interviews. NPR does this whole like sit down with her. It's Leslie Jones doing this big comeback, man.
Is she?
No, I never thought she was. The thing about it, Leslie Jones, is I never thought she was that famous to begin with. Like, unfortunately, sadly, for a lot of these people on SNL, like most of them end up just being these forgotten SNL characters and people. You know what I'm saying?
Because they're diversity hires.
Oh, that's a great call. Wow.
You didn't get hired because you were some great talent. You know what?
Wow.
What really people need to go look at is go look at all these really famous comedians that you know and love. How many of them got rejected? How many of them got rejected 2 or 3 times and then made it onto SNL?
Yes. Absolutely.
It's supposed to be very hard. But when you open up a category like, oh, we need a black female, how many black females are there?
Yeah, good call, and you're right. It's kind of the same situation we have with the vice president, right? Oh, we had to check some boxes now. Oh, crap, we have this totally inexperienced moron who we definitely cannot move up and hold the football. You know what I'm saying? Like, this person should not be in charge of the nuclear codes. Their biggest accomplishment in life is they did a threesome with Montel Williams 20 years ago and went to some award show. Right? Like, we can't let that person be president? Are we insane?
Montel Williams, that cock is a career starter. This is the guy that's got the golden ticket.